still feeling like a battle, as here it is again, the vertigo for Papa Smithy, but the pick and ban for everyone else.
Well, I'll trade one for the other if we get some more interesting picks. SKT on the red side, who will they last pick for? I think it's time to last pick for Khan, obviously down on confidence after being beaten straight up in the laning phase. Maybe it's the time for your boy Jace or your boy Fiora in order to hit the Rift.
Yep, and he's also, he's been on the Victor duty so often. I want to see him on one of these brawlers, one of the bruisers, really go back to his roots. I mean, he was the Jace guy, he was the Fiora guy. Lucian going to be their first ban. Cassiopeia still available because of that, as Galio going to be the adaptation here in the draft for SANDBOX while they're on the blue side. Last time around, Rakan, Alistar, Urgot. This time around, it's Rakan, Galio.
Well, Urgot be banned by SKT, a very, very frequent first pick in this meta. Waiting to see their read. Remember, they've been banning Camille both games so far. Can you fit in the Camille ban anymore? The answer may be no.
Well, it was their third and final ban after these two champions were taken away by SKT, but in a different order. So likely that still gets banned as the Tahm Kench, once again, going to be taken away from Mata. They are attacking his champion pool, and in Game 2, it definitely worked.
I think you have to first round Thresh if you want it here, SKT. Feels like it should be very high priority when the bans towards Mata appeared to work more often than they didn't.
Yeah.
Final ban from SKT. Again, Camille been banned Game 1 and Game 2. Can Clid take a man fight? The answer is yes.
Here we go.
And Lee Sin versus Camille. Is that what we're going to get for game number 3?
Exactly. Well, OnFleek can actually first pick the Camille if he wants to, but the Aatrox still available, and that's the one that's going to be snapped up. There are so many key picks here in this game. The Aurelia, the Akali, the Urgot. Oh my goodness. You can go all the way down the line, but it's supports that I think need some priority here because we're running out even after the first round of bans.
Joker's most known champion before LCK is Morgana, so I imagine he'll be considering Morgana for the lane power there. SANDBOX passed over the Urgot, will be left open to SKT.
3 games in a row of the Aatrox, and Faker theoretically could be back for the 6th outing on the Urgot. It's cleared. What does he want to take into this one? Is it going to be the pick away? No, it's going to be the Alistar. Mata. This is what he does. This is what he does. When Mata says, I want to win, he picks up the cow and he headbutts people away from his trophies.
Counterpoint. He carried an early game in an elimination game 3 and lost the game on Alistar against Damwon Gaming in the Kesper Cup. And it's a blind pick Alistar first round on the red side. A very big reach for Alistar, and it does mean they will actually lose out on an Ezreal as SANDBOX Gaming take it away for the first time this series.
Yep, Ezreal going to be locked away, so SANDBOX, what are they going to decide to go with? The Akali, of course, still up. The Aurelia also still up. Still so many big picks available if SKT want to answer with one of them. But this is a very powerful top side of the map that we're already looking at for SANDBOX, and one that they've already shown they can win on.
Could take jungle and double ban jungle here, because I think you want to leave the doubt on whether it's a Fiora last pick as long as possible.
Oh, here we go.
80 carry and jungle is what we're expecting at Faker and Teddy's picks. They take the Kai'Sa. They go tier list if you are judging by the LPL. We'll want to farm it out with so much hard crowd control to make the Kai'Sa work later. As the Kai'Sa in lane, though, much more risky.
Yep, and Teddy also, this is going to be his first time on the Kai'Sa so far this season. I know there hasn't been too many games, but a surprise to see something that's been such a key pick, and we also saw do so well yesterday in the hands of Viper. Braum going to be banned away here, and SKT continuing on the train of getting rid of any sort of support choice that you may have.
They take a champion to chase the Akali wherever she goes in the Lissandra off the board. Just feel like this picture will all come together with the bans to understand what SKT's plotting for last pick. They will not know at last pick whether it's Akali or Aatrox mid lane.
Yeah, exactly.
Note.
Will be flexed all around the place, and that Aatrox could also be in OnFleek's hands, as there's the Morgana banned away from Joker, like you say, his favorite pick. I wonder whether we'll see a range support coming in from Joker. I mean, something like
Nami?
A Nami, yeah, I was just thinking it. Is Nami Ezreal has been such a good lane, especially early on for so long. Haven't seen a lot of it recently, though.
Janna also is very good against Alistar in the lane.
I feel like it's a bit of a free lane situation, though, with the Alistar here, so you can pick basically what you want. As the Gragas, considered by Clid, there'll be a lot of CC and a lot of setup here for Teddy to full hard carry on the Kaiser, and it will be locked away. No ambiguity because that Alistar will be moving towards the bottom side unless Khan or Faker want to play the Gragas solo, but most likely that is the dead giveaway.
Khan has played at top lane before against Jace, but not into these matchups we're seeing on screen. Nautilus support is another hook support that's not banned away. They'll give themselves some more time. Surprise, OnFleek will be playing Camille. Wasn't banned, you'll notice, by SKT.
Yeah, it went really hard to try and get Joker back for banning all of Marta's champions last time around. And there we go. That's locked in, but now 18 seconds. And what else are we going to see? What support will Joker be pulling out here? And it could be the Lehen special in the Fiddlesticks. 7 seconds to go before we figure that one out. And man, speaking of Lehens, the Shen going to be locked in. They're saying we'll just take a lane that's not necessarily as powerful and play it into you and give ourselves the Shen to roam around the map, create 2v1s whenever he wants.
This is such a step down in lane priority for going Shen over the other options here, the 2v2. Yeah. It's not going to be great on the side of SANDBOX. Waiting for the final pick here. Gangplank, actually, is the pickup from SKT. So inspired by Nogari is Khan. You have to think Gangplank top lane trying to farm against Aatrox and not die to every Camille turret dive.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be a scary one, but something that Khan can certainly play very, very well. We saw it all last year, and SKT managed to dismantle a GP last time we saw them take on a Freak of Freaks. So whether that is going to be a good sign or a bad sign, we'll find out as we get into the game. But I'm looking at this SANDBOX draft, and I'm seeing priority almost everywhere with what they've picked up. And a slight difference. We hit 20 seconds, and that's an Aatrox top lane.
Wow, okay. That changes things a little bit here. When it comes to matchups, Aatrox going to try to squish Gangplank, as you might imagine. Farming it out in the mid lane against the Urgot. The shorter lane suits the Akali a bit more. Then we saw this matchup top at Worlds. But Shen support's the one that's the head scratcher for me. I understand what it does. It does mean that Akali can hit a side lane, have a stand united, some extra CC, and some more kills.
Yep.
And 1-3-1. The engage range of OnFleek and then the Shen riding on Akali or Aatrox is immense. But it's sacrificing the 2v2. And largely Joker's been playing only range supports to reinforce the 2v2 for SANDBOX.
Yeah, and also giving Teddy a free lane feels like the party foul when you're going up against SKT. And how did they win last time? They Dravened him. And the Ezreal Shen is not going to be able to Draven anyone.
This is true, Atlas.
Yeah.
Succinct, on point.
And Draven, as you notice, not banned at all because the Ezreal was picked up in his stead. SANDBOX obviously have a plan. Their drafts are being creative. Let's see whether it works as we hit the rift. SKT fans raising their voices to try and get the victory here in the deciding match between SANDBOX Gaming and SK Telecom T1. The Dream Team would not want to fall down to a team fresh out of Challenger, previously known, of course, as Team Battle Comics. SANDBOX clean swept their way through the promotion tournament, but then got smashed out of Kesper Cup very, very quickly and weren't considered to be a top contender here in the LCK. I think most people had them down in the bottom three.
I think clean swept is an overstatement given they did come from the losers bracket. Damwon Gaming were the fastest team to come through the promotion tournament. And
That's true.
MVP's era ended at the hands of SANDBOX. What does it all mean? Clid going to be on the Predator jungler. Real chance that OnFleek, just like he did in past games against Peanut, goes relentlessly aggressive and makes Gragas accountable for every camp he wants.
Well, at the moment, they're going to try and make him accountable for even the beginning few camps, as that is very deep vision put down on that Bramble back very early. Khan actually going to switch it up. He's going to move towards the mid lane. We've seen a lot of this where solo laners aren't necessarily called mid or top anymore. And it was SANDBOX Gaming that I think was one of the first teams to make that switch up when Summit went for the Darius in the mid lane.
And the next levels begin. Standard jungle path of red to blue, bot side jungle from Camille because you can jump over the wall. However, smite battle might happen. Both junglers have smite.
Yep, Clid wants to try and challenge for this one. The patience is going to still be there as Mata makes first roam. And there's the body slam. Dove is going to have the inside track, but OnFleek still might have to get himself out. Actually decides to go aggressive as there's a headbutt onto Joker, trying to make sure that he doesn't get it. And that's going to be first blood going over to Dove. It's a complete disaster here in the Dragon Pit. 1-for-1 in the end, as Dove does have at least the Shroud for a moment, but has to flash in the end. So far, a lot of action, but relatively even.
And a very peculiar set of action because Mata's level 1. It's not level 2 Alistair that should run the show on a gank like that. OnFleek's smart to go back in, get a kill involvement, and leave. But extra summoners blown means that Gragas with Predator can do some good work in a couple of minutes.
Let's have a look at this one again. And OnFleek had the option of hookshotting back over. In the end, that wasn't what they went for.
Get the kill onto Clid. Cleaned up that time by the Akali. Joker goes down. He uses Summoner as well. No flash Shen bot lane. It's pretty sad. It's top side.
Yep, Faker top is going to have to use his flash. Decides not to go for the fat flash over the wall, but instead is going to take the safe route south. Summit now with a huge minion wave, though, that's stacking up. And Faker with not too many easy ways of getting towards it without being in a lot of risk of going down.
Summit only interested in thinning the wave and keeping it around this scenario. One minion going to bounce into turret, not ideal. But very good lane positioning against an opponent who has no flash, and 2.5 minutes before he can have a ghost or another thing from his unsealed spellbook.
Yeah, exactly, and we'll see whether OnFleek is actually going to come back up here. The Gromp is being dealt with at the moment, but Faker probably looking to try and reset this one into the turret and look for a teleport to make his way back forward. As Ghost doing what Teddy did to him in the earlier stages of the game. If you remember back to game number 2, the Draven wasn't all sunshine and roses. In the early game it was a lot of Teddy bullying him.
That was teleport timers as well with the Sapphire Crystal start that we don't see. Coming in from Ghost really is suicide if you go Sapphire Crystal start with a Shen support.
Yes, that doesn't sound like a good idea.
Doran Shield, one of the least seen of the Ezreal starting items, but understandable. Just all the long-range poke that the Void Seekers being sent out by the Kai'Sa can put onto the duo lane of SANDBOX.
Well, Summit on his turn on the Aatrox up against Faker, having a rough time. The classic Worlds matchup of the Urgot Aatrox that we saw almost every single time. Currently Faker just smashing these minion waves over and over again into the top lane outer turret. He's going to have another back here as well, as Clid couldn't find any joy in the gank.
It's often the right way to play the lane is do your best Aurelion Soul impression in tricky lanes where your summoner is down.
Yeah, I like it.
And take shops when you can get them and know that the chances of full punishment when there's not 5 points in the queue on the side of Aatrox are pretty minimal.
All right, now Clid, I think going to be spotted on that ward as Mata coming on over here as well. The Clid Mata show, you mentioned, you were talking about JD Gaming and what Clid would do, taking his support and just running around, trying to get the map working in his favor. And Joker, I don't think this control ward's going to go down for free as Clid finds the body slam. Mata actually flashing in a very weird way to try and get himself over to the other side. Not entirely sure what that was about, as now Clid will be the first one to go down. OnFleek very, very low, but still has 200 health to work with. Headbutt to safety here as Mata delivers OnFleek towards Teddy. I said safety, I was lying, but SANDBOX still able to trade up elsewhere on the map.
And they're lucky that the experience bar isn't fuller, because if level 6 is hit by Akali, and more kills will be going the way of SANDBOX. Mata there thought Shen had flash or expected the taunt over the wall, doesn't see it, ends up looking silly. Overthinking there, next level that isn't pulled off, and Shen Ezreal get one of the few preferential back timers. Let's understand this one. Headbutt pulverize, stun, and then Mata's already gone, and Stoker says, maybe I'll hold on to the taunt. Maybe that's not where I want to go.
Yep, and I see it now. I see the idea there, but did look a little bit silly. Old man mechanics actually working out for Joker in this particular instance, as OnFleek does get taken down. It was a good special delivery over to Teddy there when it felt a little bit like a headbutt to safety, but SANDBOX still absolutely ecstatic out of that early exchange, and it means that as the dust settles, 4-2 is the kill score, and that gold lead that SANDBOX had already built up for themselves still there.
And the CS lead in mid lane already there in kind of one of the better phases of the lane matchup for Gangplank, and we know this could go way worse. You can't even escape under your turret. if the Shroud is available. So Khan needs to be tricky, and maybe even a lane swap needs to happen to put Faker back in mid.
Well, on Fleek, looking for a potential counter gank now, as Clid will find that his jungle is empty. No Bramblebacks, no red buffs. Red is going to be taken for the second round here on both sides of the map by On Fleek. Khan's going to eat some oranges, but it's really not feeling that K here in game number 3.
You know who's feeling K? It's On Fleek, who finally got to play as Camille after 2 games of bans. This guy was the guy we originally thought was Jug King. We learned that was the young 17-year-old jungler.
Oh!
On down one, his mid lane's dead.
Yep, that is no longer a Khan. That is a Death Chamber. He's down to Davy Jones' locker, and that is not where you want your pirate.
Remember the ward that saved them from ganks like that against a previous Camille? Not there this time.
Yeah.
Easy flash over. Things go from bad to worse in the mid lane for Khan.
We're talking about mentality. This is not looking like the clean and calculated SKT that we saw in their first 2 series. They were able to navigate Galio comps. They were able to navigate all of these teamfighting compositions with finesse. But this has not been finesse so far. 7 kills in the first 8 minutes, and they've been scrappy. Clid now just desperately trying to lock down his own jungle camps, which is not a position that we've seen him in so far.
Pre-10-minute Gunblade, not the position many Akalis have been in, and it's close, Atlas.
Oh, wow. 3-0-1. Dove was over-aggressive on the Aatrox. We're going to see this one again on Fleek. Pretty standard on Fleek Camille being shown in the mid lane.
But it's pretty standard Camille in general. Again, they had great wards below the torch. On the bottom side of the map, we're zooming out, just where On Fleek to the left of where he's standing. He's back mid lane, but there's a counter gank.
Yeah, Clid's going to come in, gets the boot back underneath the turret, but the Hextech ultimatum is there as Khan is going to be traded a 1-for-1. You'll take that any day of the week as Joker, he's going to turn up, and they're going to shove this minion wave into the turret.
A trade kill, a trade of summoners, and all these plays happening before Joker has hit level 6, so he cannot respond with the ultimate top lane Faker.
Yeah, taking a lot of damage here. World Ender held on to. And it was the Ignite used, and turret plating going to go down in the mid lane. So Faker not going to have that combat summoner, and now you can see how far back he is on the top side. Getting towards 3,000 gold before we're cresting that 10-minute mark that you're talking about.
On Fleek comes through a ward this time, but Gragas there to counter gank. However, Khan's lower level. Khan's been out of the game for a bit of it here. He will still go down in the trade kill, and a trade of summoners probably more impactful on Clid than it is on Akali, who sometimes doesn't take flash at all.
Yep, and Dove going to hop underneath this turret now and Summit on the Aatrox and Dove on the Akali. It's pretty easy to dive anyone. And World Ender almost unnecessary as Summit's just going to use it to get his health back. Dove gets out, Marta's waiting, but this is a cow without a stable hand. Ain't no one else there to help him out, and he's not going to be able to survive underneath that turret.
6-0-2, Aatrox and Akali. The solo lanes here for SANDBOX Gaming. This is with SKT having overall last pick and putting Khan in the mid lane. Summit style, like we saw from SANDBOX Gaming in week 1. And now Teddy has to contend with a fed Akali really early, and before he has 2 items and maybe some friends doing damage around him, Akali makes mincemeat out of a Kaisa.
Yeah, it's sort of making me feel a little bit like we're watching a Batman movie, though, you know. And you're talking about Teddy in this 80 carry position. He was forged by play like this. The rest of his lanes, 20 CS behind. Losing out on those kills, but Teddy still getting the farm. Getting himself to this terrifying Kaisa state. Can he do it this game is the question. Still very early days. SKT still with so much star power on this roster. But it's getting more and more difficult. These SANDBOX players. Joker navigating towards level 6 very nicely. Dying just once, but picks up 3 assists in that first skirmish. And now there can be a Shen delivered to any of these dives that SANDBOX can put together.
But also, Atlas, we're in the mid-game, and we've already had a good one and a bad one from SANDBOX Gaming when it comes to growing and turning the early game into the mid-game in a positive way. Rift Herald's a nice start. The Shen ultimate papers over some of the other problems, so being 5 CS ahead with the Shen support, you feel pretty good, but Ezreal known to do what it says on the box and always be competitive. We can't give them the full benefit of the doubt. It's not week 6. They haven't done it again and again. They've flattered to deceive. Let's see if SANDBOX Gaming can continue to trade up, because they've been pretty good about that so far in games 2 and 3.
Yeah, they got a heck of a lot of wards around this Rift Herald that they just took. OnFleek now looking for an opportunity to utilize it, as Joker is going to get booped. Voidseek is going to land there as well, as Joker just trying to offer some damage back, but now the threat of the surprise no longer there for SKT. And OnFleek going to take yet another red buff. Clid is just not allowed in his own jungle right now. It's Joker clearing out all the vision that he would like. Joker going to get delivered that Ghost going to get delivered that extra gold.
Ghost also gets to just throw down Mystic shots and slowly siege. Now, slow is the word here. Kai'Sa and Alistar very good at trimming waves. Not early enough in the game for that to be important. And Clid has Predator to back up, is spotted by the nice ward down the lane there.
Yeah, immediately spotted by Mata because they knew that something was up.
This outer turret seems likely to last multiple more minutes unless the Camille really is able to warp the map state with the use of the Rift Herald.
Yeah, 2 turret plates down in the mid lane, 1 down on the bottom side, and 5 still standing on top. So like you say, things doing okay for SKT in that regard. But Summit is also removing Clid's jungle, and this Gragas is 2 levels behind and has basically no jungle that he can safely go to.
SKT feel more difficult to execute in a team fight, and when it's not a team fight, we have the
coming
piggyback
down.
system.
Yeah, looking for Faker, gets himself the taunt, as there's the Infernal Chains, not going to pull him back, but the hook shot's going to stun him up, and see you later, Faker. You do not belong on the bottom side. SANDBOX pick up the kill, and they've got 4 turret plates to get through down here as well.
And when you actually get through lane as Shen support Atlas, let's remember what we were researching pre-series. Faker with a very low kill participation, around 55%.
Yeah.
We know that means a lot of things. It tells us they're not team fighting a lot with Faker. He's in a side lane 1-3-1-ing, and piggyback is a great way to take down one person, and Shen does it best.
Shen is actually, he's got an ability that should be called piggyback. Stand United? It's just another word for piggyback. It must be, as Clid relegated to under his inner turret. Dove is going to land the backflip shuriken. Half the health bar of that inner. First turret going down, 5,000, close to 6 is the lead here for SANDBOX, who have come alive in the deciding Game 3. Momentum is so important. And understanding that you didn't have a lot of expectation on your shoulders. SKT with so much. They built this team to win. SANDBOX, the brand new squad, coming over, not even the team from Challenger with the most expectation, and already looking towards an undefeated in match score first 3 series in the LCK 2019. Very exciting for these guys.
And with SKT, I just can't get past these 2 drafts. The, I guess, disrespect on the Draven that was very consequential in the end without being MVP in game number 2. And then now in this game, it's kind of random GP. Like, you can understand Noguri going top lane, farm lane, and doing his thing. Damwon Gaming have shown zombie pushing. Let's get a lot of gold onto Noguri and win strategies multiple times in Kesper Cup and SKT series as well. But here, yeah, interesting to send in mid lane against a champion that, yes, got more extra gold and started killing him solo earlier. There was always a bit of timer on that. What it all means. The painting that we're seeing painted by SKT, I'm not sure I'm a fan.
No, I don't think so. However, 15.5 minutes into the game. Still, I know it's the dirty S word, but Gangplank and Kai'Sa almost require you to say it. Scaling is an opportunity here, but if you look over the other side of the map, Aatrox does great things. In the late game, he can kill an entire team by himself. Akali as well, so incredibly slippery and such high damage potential and survivability with the passive that you get.
But they got nothing right now, Atlas. 2-item Ezreal.
Yeah.
The bonus Oblivion Orb on the Akali. The jungle matchup also more CS and more kills. And Aatrox, a handful on the side lane that there is no Fiora to answer. So at these items, kind of on SANDBOX to just puff out their chest and say, this is mine, and this is mine, and this is mine. And only making mistakes there. Baron to spawn in 3.5 minutes. That's really the only thing that can slow them down. It feels like their destiny is in their own hands.
Yeah, and you look at this, the gold graph is just linear at this point from the skirmishes that they were able to pick up. That's where some of these bumps are actually in, and the Predator's going to fly forward, but Clid not even going to look for the flash. Couldn't find the right target. And there's just not a whole lot of options. Meanwhile, Dove pushes on the top side.
Map control goes down, Camille invades, and that'll be a free turret. being chunked out and maybe not taken out. They see Gangplank. I don't know if that deters them. They should remember the stopwatch is available for GP and Gragas.
Sad thing for SKT fans is that it was SKT that made the 1-3-1 look so incredibly good with the Fiora composition, but now SANDBOX are almost doing it better with Aatrox and the Akali in side lanes and being able to control, like you say, the jungle with the Camille that has so much power if you don't have the information about him.
And they didn't.
Teddy spotted.
They didn't know about what lane assignment was going to happen, so they couldn't take Fiora confidently on the red side. Matchup into Akali, very different. Outscale matchup into Aatrox, we've seen already played by Khan. OnFleek pushes up, and something had to give in the bands, and, well, another great performance on the Camille.
Yep, and Clid has only got one red buff so far this game, and it's 17.5 minutes in. OnFleek has been in there, taking it down every single time.
Is he red with anger or red with envy, then?
I don't know. Red in the face, I think, is most likely.
He's been the MVP machine on the side of SKT, but we thought he'd be one of the most up-to-date on dealing with aggressive Camille's. He's from the LPL. They love that champion way before Korea more than half-heartedly committed to the jungle Camille meta.
I feel like Camille came and went in the LCK.
So fast.
Camille came and then stayed in the LPL.
Because it got outscaled in Korea. Everyone didn't do anything for 10 minutes at 20 to 30.
Yeah.
And then Camille was like, I don't know, I've got 2 parts of a Trinity Force and a stopwatch. I'm pretty cool. And it didn't do anything in team fights. Here, though, we're seeing OnFleek, Canyon, the next generation, be the aggressive Camille's that are a treat to watch.
Well, OnFleek is making it look very, very strong right now. Dove up towards the top side. Khan has to wait underneath his turret to try and get the right barrels down. And Joker just feels like he can be anywhere right now. Stand United, once again available, can piggyback his way into any of these fights. You can see on the bottom side of the map, 2 members in Summit and OnFleek just waiting for Faker to move a little bit too far forward.
Consider the terrain we're seeing those words be applied to Atlas. They control not even their wolf camp, let alone maybe Raptors half the time. They got nothing other than what's pushed into them, does SKT.
Well, Clid going to somehow manage to get himself over to this wolf camp, but
2 games
that's
in a
not what you
row,
want to be
Atlas.
talking
It's
about.
an 8,000 gold lead for SANDBOX.
Yeah. And it's not even 20 minutes into the game yet. This is one of the fastest 8K gold leads that we've seen so far. And we saw some one-sided matchups in our first week. Felt like the top teams were against the bottom teams just on purpose that time around. This is not how this one's supposed to go. I read the script, and it was supposed to say undefeated SKT versus undefeated Griffin. It's looking like undefeated SANDBOX is going to be the real final boss.
Is putting some separation between 2 teams that were occupying the same tier in a lot of people's minds. I was always Griffin a little bit upper because just the style of what they show is so next level in so many games, but SKT had probably played better if you incorporate yesterday's Griffin series where they were so lucky to win game number 1. Can't say the same now after we have seen 2.5 games in our first series of the night, guys. After a shorter break, because we are not going to be finishing early, will be Afrika Freaks versus Gen G, 0-2 versus 0-2, but hopefully with one team being a Casper Cup runner-up and the other team being with a roster that you can feel really good about, hopefully that's a short-lived struggle rather than a season-long struggle for those 2 orgs.
Yeah, we saw Kingzone versus KT definitely delivered yesterday as well, so you might look at the scoreline, but the game's certainly exciting and Kingzone able to fight back, so Afrika Freaks still desperate for a victory. Gen G, after losing to this particular team, might be on a bit of a high, knowing that they were able to also potentially take down SKT. That is what it's looking like right now. Leads like this can be overcome.
It just sucks to play against Shen in a 1-3-1 versus 1-3-1 comp like this, because both those DPS dealers are snowballed and have a Shen. So you're giving up so many more minion waves and so much more turret damage to melee champions than you ever would. Without a Shen to talk about, the Shen support shouldn't have got out of lane. That was our first estimation. It did, and now it looks real good. Yeah. As SKT, they have to go in a conga line just to go into melee range of OnFleek.
And OnFleek is just standing here being a personal ward remover, making sure that SKT have no way of getting any inside tracks towards inner turrets. It's a really nice suffocation, and this is what we're used to seeing SKT doing. It's what they've been very, very good since, I don't know, 2013, so incredibly early. As Cleared has to go into the stopwatch, but that's just a see your death moment. OnFleek picks up the kill so easily. It's Teddy, you can't supercharge yourself out of this problem.
Can't even get a summoner either. Can Gragas here. Clid goes down. They turn on to Baron. It's their favorite time of the game. But SKT could have multiple smites to throw this one off.
Yep. Faker doesn't have his just yet, but does have teleport available. Khan wants to try and keep this minion wave in check so they don't lose out on too much, but half the health bar now on this Baron buff as Mata gets a decent pulverize, but has to use the ultimate so incredibly early. Khan has to run away, and SANDBOX Gaming, they want to try and get something from it. They do manage to pick up the cow as Teddy takes a bit of damage off the back end, and Khan has to flash to get out. Is 2 picks going to be enough? I'm not entirely sure because Clid is now up and available.
Dove's Akali, I'm sure, is pretty damn clean as they flip the matchups in game number 3, and it looks just as impressive as Summits. That picked up the MVP. Scoreboard already told us the tail here. Huge is the Akali. Baron pressure, enough to draw out another kill, but like you mentioned, not the most Baron damage on this team. You want the Aatrox, Shen, etc. to be looking for the turn, so I think SKT can be a bit more liberal with how much time they allow the Baron started in darkness.
Yep. And Clid would have died to that Mystic shot, so did have to go into the stasis in order to keep himself alive for a little bit longer, but honestly didn't really mean too much here.
Watch Summit's damage, though. This is onto an ulted Alistar, can wait it out, and then says, oh, I'll take that, thank you very much.
Yep. True Shot Barrage probably would have been able to net himself that kill, but decided to pick that one up, and you can see SANDBOX coaches,
high expectation coach on the left.
Looking pretty good. Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Yes, you're winning, as you should be.
Yes, it's normal team fight against SKT. I believe that's a direct quote.
Would love to have our observers and the show producer give us the post-game Nexus exploding reaction, though, because that's where you should be overjoyed. Way better than you could expect from SANDBOX to be 3-0.
Yeah.
Already. Eclipsing the Kongdu that went 2-0, then fell away quickly, and they want more.
Yep, Mata, I don't think he has that ultimate available, but Cannon Barrage does come in, and Teddy goes for the ultimate. Doesn't find the Acathian Rain onto Onfleek, which is exactly what he was looking for. We saw Viper was able to get that one pick-off on the jungler in that teamfight at about this time for Griffin yesterday. Not to be the case here for Teddy today, as Summit continues pushing waves towards Khan.
4v4, Gangplank ult, no problem. Like you say, too short. I mean, the Q wasn't going to follow and pick up that exit kill onto Onfleek. He's back already.
Flying into vision here, as you could see. Spots award,
and
what he's been
got
doing.
A little bit of everything, Atlas. That's a Trinity Force at a more respectable clip. And the budget Guardian Angel in the stopwatch. Here we go.
Yep, Summit is going to get headbutt pulverized. Does use the World Ender here. Fears all of the minions, but not SKT. The 5 members are looking for their team fight. Ultimate is going to land onto Ghost, but not Arm. That was the start of the fight, and SKT do have to back away.
Bashing their heads onto the closest door a little bit here. SANDBOX playing one lane for a bit too long. The Baron, to their credit at least, they're not too hard to the pain about that one. Inferno feels like a great fallback, Drake. As, no.
Ghost didn't get it?
Maybe. Actually, I didn't notice.
Yeah.
I was focused on the Drake.
I'm not used to Clid getting red buffs, so I assume Ghost picked that one up.
Assumptions.
I want to
go damn risky in LCK Spring. The new blood rises, Atlas, and all these assumptions about what a game should, will, might be like, all going down the toilet more often than not.
Yep, and I want more of it, Papa Smithy.
SKT want more objectives. They ain't got none in this game. Nothing.
No.
It's not a perfect game, but oh boy, is it close.
Teddy wants more protection. He's going for Azonya's Hourglass as his next item. I was wondering what the 2 amp tomes were doing in his inventory. It's going to be more of that AP Kai'Sa flavor. We saw the LPLs a little bit more favorable towards. We'll have the triple evolution with this particular build as well.
Over 10,000 gold lead, never got this big for Griffin to have to contend with. And yet with Kai'Sa, you remember a pentakill just yesterday and you wonder, do you dare to dream for an SKT fan? Usually fandom does bring things like that, but it could be shut up so quickly with the next Camille ultimate or Akali leveraging the 3 items she has way, way quicker than you would like.
Yep, and Joker does have that Spirit's Refuge to get out of the auto attack damage, at least from Teddy. The Cathian Rain still going to hurt, but not too much. The Knight's Vow is picked up as Khan. Infernal Chains are going to work out here. Summit does have the GA to be a little bit more aggressive underneath these turrets. Both of the solo laners, as you mentioned earlier, but still no deaths to their name. 2-0-2 for the Aatrox, 5-0-2 for the Akali. 1,000 gold bounty and Onfleek, just the gatekeeper of the top side of the jungle. Dove coming in, wants to try and take down this inner turret, but Faker does at least have the purge to get rid of these minions relatively quickly. Inhibitor turret on the bottom side, though, you can see picture in picture, getting taken down very, very low by the Aatrox. Khan, not a whole lot he can do to stop that one from going down.
Still a pretty slow siege.
Yeah.
SANDBOX not looking for anything as bold as a Camille turret dive or Zhonya's Akali trying to zone harder. Means that it's only inner turrets that have rolled down. Feels like perhaps it was ready to go on the side of SANDBOX to truly close the game. No game is over when the inhibitors are still alive.
Yep. Cheeky tactical sweep there, but Faker not going to be worried about it. And SKT still, they look like they're hungry to try and find something. Teleport from Faker towards the bottom side. They want to get rid of Summit, but that's the special delivery on the Shen. And Khan might just be exploded. Summit trying to get that work done. Flashes forward. Khan trying to bait him in. The World Ender's there. They'll have to kill him twice. Now, make it 3 times with that GA, and Joker is in no man's land. Does get the kill, but look at this. SANDBOX, they don't care. They're just going to break open the base. They take down the top inhibitor turret. They'll take the top inhibitor. SKT, they've only lost Khan. They've traded it for Joker's life, but Summit, he survived. I believe GA still intact.
And the fires are still not put out, Atlas. You still have gone nowhere near Baron to put down any vision there, and Baron will be a very soon objective. For the side of SANDBOX, you lose 1 inhibitor. It's the top one, so at least you can push those minions out and be close to the Baron. It's Camille.
Yeah, Flash is going to come in here. Teddy might have created enough distance here. Zonfleek is going to be safe for the moment. Dove hanging on over, and the vision, like we were talking about before, has been eradicated on the top side jungle, so Teddy can't move any further.
I'm the world's worst Camille, so I appreciate all the auto-threading we're seeing. As this is the replay of the play. Shen able to join. It's a support Shen, so nothing doing. The ult's early, so it's not the biggest shield. Summit just says, I'm bringing someone with me, and it's, of course, the MVP of the summer season in Khan, who will go down. They eventually lose Shen, but for an inhibitor turret in the bot lane, and both the inhibitor turret and the inhibitor on the top side of the map, I'll call worth.
Yep. Umbral Dash is enough to get him over the wall as well, meaning that didn't need the flash for that one. Used that to try and get on top of Khan, who answered it with his stopwatch. Now Khan actually going for a little bit more of the lethality build, as Joker might have been a little bit overextended, but can you be when you're this far ahead? As Faker, last hit of that Q from Summit could be a problem as Marta dives forward, trying to find the engagement they're looking for, but Teddy is being ripped apart and immediately taken out with the Hextech ultimatum from OnFleek. True shot barrage across everyone, and SKT, they tried, they went for it, but it is not enough, and SANDBOX Gaming will be able to take Game 3 against the Dream Team. Straight from Challenger, looking so damn good.
What a beautiful sandcastle made in this sandbox. It's looking pimp because they're going to beat SK Telecom T1 and inflict the first loss on the Dream Team at LCK level.
Yep, nothing that they can do. No one alive to defend this Nexus. It's a Stand United on the Ghost and a Stand United basically for this whole sandbox squad. Everyone